Okay, milk bottle lids. She sent him out for some milk. He came back hours later, after the bars had closed, singing Folsom Prison Blues by Johnny Cash. He remembered the milk, a gallon-sized, semi-opaque plastic jug of homogenized, the kind with the red plastic handle and matching foil lid. Like a magpie, I collected those shiny lids, flattening them meticulously. I had a shoebox full under my bed where I lay listening to his shouts and my mother's shushes and my baby sister's shrieks and another sound that I couldn't identify, one that reminded me of our neighbor's jack-o'-lantern shattering against the bricks of their house. Except Halloween was still months away, so I knew it wasn't that. He summoned me to settle the argument. Not yet 5, I already understood the difference between the right answer and the one I had to give. On the other side of the room, a milk-white moon melted down the wall, and a shiny red boat sailed across the linoleum. This one's titled, See No Evil, Hear No Evil, Speak No Evil. There's a yellowed Polacolor photo of me and 2 of my 3 sisters standing in front of a 60s-shaped car, wearing identical goldenrod yellow dresses, hemmed with rows of blood-red rickrack. 3 wise monkeys. My hands plaited over my stomach, one sister with soldier-straight arms at her sides, the other with hands hidden behind her back. They wear white knee socks and ribbons in their hair. My socks are red, my ribbon missing, or never there. Night blindness. I read that rabbits are born blind, and blind mole rats have no eyes, and Helen Keller was deaf-blind. My father was blind in one eye, and his mother was going blind from glaucoma. I didn't know then there were other kinds of blindness, like color, or snow, or night. I used to pretend I was blind. I would close my eyes and try to recognize objects by touch alone, and attempt to navigate my environment without bumping into things. I thought I was preparing myself, but perhaps, like a toddler playing hide and seek, I believed I couldn't be seen. My mother says she didn't know, that when my father came home drunk late at night and didn't come to bed, she assumed he had fallen asleep downstairs. In hindsight, I could say she had night blindness, but then maybe I would have to admit that I had it too. And my last poem is called Cracks. My grandmother was a witch. At least that's what my father called her when he was drunk on Jack Daniels and Johnny Cash. She wasn't really a witch, but she was superstitious. And she taught me to avoid black cats and ladders and to fear Friday the 13th, but especially not to step on cracks in sidewalks and to stay away from suspicious interstitial spaces. My grandmother was a fortune teller, but she didn't know her husband would run off with their neighbor, leaving her in limbo with 6 kids and no way to pay the bills except by reading tea-soaked leaves for soul-searching strangers. My father said it was a sham, that she should be ashamed of herself for taking their money in exchange for false hope. But she just gave him the evil eye and socks for Christmas. My grandmother had a voodoo doll with button black eyes. She showed me how to stick pins in all the right places. I collected silver hair from brushes and watched her cast spells and curses to cause pain to ease her own. She used a Ouija board and a heart-shaped planchette to teach me how to spell. She taught me well. I won spelling bees and silver dollars for sentimental stories with happy ever after endings. My mother couldn't spell, but she could make believe behind her Jackie Onassis sunglasses. According to my grandmother, my mother had the gift, but she refused to use it. She said she didn't want it. She said it was a curse, that there was nothing worse than knowing the future, because tenses make no sense when you can't change them. My grandmother told my fortune when I was 13 and deemed old enough for tassiographical truth. I drank all but a teaspoonful of the bitter brew and threw sugar over my shoulder instead of salt for luck. When my grandmother looked into the cup, she paused and said she couldn't see anything. I thought she meant I had no future, but perhaps I was just invisible. Thank you.